How's it going, sports card fans, wrestling collectors? Tom here from CollectAWrestlePalooza. It is the Nationals weekend at the time of this recording. Obviously, I'm not out there buying cards. I'm here at home collecting, and I have a few packages for us to open today instead of combing the booths at the National. If you're there, I hope you're having a great time and really enjoying meeting other folks in the hobby and picking up some grails or whatever the reason you're going. I hope that it's proving to be fruitful for you. I've never been to the National, and it is a bucket list item for me. But today we're going to be opening these together. I don't really know what's inside, but I know what's inside a couple of them maybe. But we're going to find out together for sure by cutting them open and getting to the good stuff. And I'm also going to tell you my thoughts on a comment I received recently on one of my videos that I really appreciated, and it highlights one of the parts of collecting that I think people forget about. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to open up the packages. We're going to have some fun.
CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.
So if you've never been to this channel before, thank you for joining today. If you've been here before, I appreciate the support. I'm a man in my 40s. I'm a heart attack survivor, and I'm a wrestling fanatic. I used to watch it when I was a kid, and I really like the golden age. It reminds me of a different time in my life when I was obsessed with action figures and wrestling action figures, and I dreamed of being an adult that had money. And I said to myself, when I become an adult and I have money, I'm going to spend it on things that I want. And what I want is I want to recapture some of those feelings from my childhood. So that's what this channel's about. I am not really in it for investment, but I do have an eBay store. I do have a Patreon. It is a lot of work to make these videos every week. I do dedicate at least one day of my weekend every weekend to making videos and working on my collection and my store and all of that stuff. So if you feel like supporting that, keep some wind in my sails. Links to the Patreon and different ways to support me are in the show notes. So I received a comment on one of my recent videos that said that this is one of the channels that the person did not have to pre-screen to watch it with their children. So in my head, it's a dad and a son. Maybe it was a mom and a son or a mom and a daughter, but no matter what, it really warmed my heart. It really reminded me of why we collect. And it reminded me of being a kid and going to the card shop with my dad. And at the time, not realizing that that connection with my dad, as I was buying the stars that I liked, I was buying the Doc Gooden, I was into Dwight Gooden at the time, some of the Met stars, Gary Carter, those types of people, Darryl Strawberry, that was my thing at the time. So going to the different sports card stores and looking for those cards, it may have reminded my dad of his childhood when he had Mickey Mantles and those cards in his collection. And I didn't realize it at the time, and now as a man that doesn't have any kids, I really appreciate the dads out there that are doing this with their sons. So this channel is family friendly. It always has been. I don't like to use curse words or things like that. That's just what I do. That's what, I want to present to the world, is I want to present an opportunity for families to connect as well over the sport of professional wrestling or whatever sport you're into or whatever collectible you're into. Collections and collecting is a really healthy hobby. It really allows you to escape and to not think about some of the things that are troubling in this world. It allows you to think about something else or to transport yourself to a different place, maybe a happier place, and that's great. That's what life is all about. That's why we're here. That's how we connect to ourselves and to each other. So with that in mind, I do have these 3 packages. We have 2 envelopes and a box. I'm feeling the box first this week. Usually I do the box last, and maybe it's because it's a biggest thing usually in the stack, but we're going to do it first. This one does say eBay. Everything I buy almost is on eBay. I do that mostly because it's easier to track at the end of the year when I'm doing my taxes. So I like to buy and sell on a platform that does the taxes for me. But we're going to open this up. I think I know what's inside. Well, let's find out. So we've got some bubble wrap here. And yeah, oh, actually this might not be what I thought it was. It might be something else that's a little bit more exciting. Yeah, this is awesome. So, sealed VHS, Professional Wrestling Illustrated presents Lords of the Ring. I don't know much about this copy. I don't know the value of it, but it's got the Road Warriors on the front. The Road Warriors are special. If you're a collector and you're looking for something to hold value, I think you can't really go wrong with the Road Warriors just because they were so unique and they were the first tag team to come out, do the sort of movie reference, and if you look on my channel, you see that I have been buying professional wrestling stars that have movie references. Road Warriors is another example. It's Mad Max. It's all of that stuff. There was a movie called The Road Warrior, right? Isn't that the Mad Max thing, is the Road Warriors? So I like that. I like the allusions to pop culture, but also they were the first tag team that came in and they were stiff. They were just powerhouses. They just came in and they always won. And as a kid, when you only had WWF after Vince McMahon took over all of the television stations, you had to find pictures of the Road Warriors in magazines, and the only way to see them was to rent the videos in the VHS store. So for that reason, some of the old NWA and, this type of VHS kind of rings true to me, to having an extra aura or mystique about it. This one does say copyright 1985 on the back. Our price $9.99. It doesn't look like it's, a rental, obviously. It's something you would have purchased at retail, but what a cool cassette, Pro Wrestling Illustrated presents. Maybe this was something that came with a subscription, and then they also sold it on the store shelf for $9.99. I don't know, but it's got the Road Warriors. It's got, who else is that? It's got Ric Flair there. I want to say this is the Fabulous Ones, the Fantastics. Join host Gordon Soley for a no-holds-barred look at wrestling's greatest champions, most outrageous rule breakers, and most memorable matches. That's what it says on the back. So, really excited to pick it up. When I buy VHS, I always get it sealed. That's just my thing. I always look for watermarks. This one doesn't need watermarks because it's got the price stickers, and if you were going to do a reseal, I don't think that you would be able to replicate those old school price stickers. Maybe you could, but I think it's a pretty good chance that it's an authentic seal. So 1986, Road Warriors, Nature Boy Ric Flair, Jerry the King Lawler, Dusty Rhodes, Rowdy Roddy Piper, Gorgeous George, and much, much more. A real survey of the golden age of professional wrestling. And second, we're going to open this one here, this blue envelope, because I think this might be what I thought was inside the box. Not super exciting, but it's something that I picked up just because I think it's going to be good in my collection and look cool. Yeah, so I have this game for the Wii. I have it not sealed, but I bought a sealed copy because I think it was under $10. And I just figure the Wii is at that age of pedigree in the lineage of video game systems that the sealed games are going to start to become more rare and harder to find because people are still buying the sealed games to play them. I still have the Wii upstairs. I still play it. I still do that. So getting sealed copies is going to be harder and harder. These are mass produced, so I don't know if they're ever going to hold a lot of value, but as artifacts and as being something that's more condition sensitive, if you think about like junk wax era cards, so it's things that are mass produced, the condition is more important. So I'm going back into the Wii. Every Wii game I own is not sealed because I play them, so I'm starting to buy some of them sealed, and this one is going to look good on my shelf. It does have John Cena, has The Undertaker. John Cena, I think, as he retires, is going to be more and more respected, and people are going to realize more and more the hole that's left when he's not there. And I just thought this was a pretty cool game to own. So Smackdown vs. Raw 2010 for the Wii sealed copy. Finally, here we have this blue envelope. don't know if you can hear the airplane overhead. There's a lot of neighborhood noises going on outside. It's a beautiful summer day. I actually really like neighborhood noises like lawnmowers and leaf blowers and cars and motorcycles and people just out and about on a Saturday having a good time. Again, reminds me of my childhood playing basketball in the driveway. Just really, really neat to be home and doing this today. So this envelope contains something that I'm actually pretty excited about, and it does fill a gap in my collection, and it goes along with my collecting style, if this is what I think it is, but let's find out. Yeah, I think this is a raw card in a sandwich here, probably in a top holder, hopefully in a top holder, because some of this tape here is would definitely damage the card if it hit it, but let's see what's inside. Inside the cardboard we have, yes, this is exactly what I thought it was. And man, it's in pretty good condition just taking a look at it or taking a peek. This is the 1989 WWF Classic Twin Towers card featuring Akeem and the Big Bossman. I'm probably going to put a bigger image of it over here because this camera and this light doesn't capture it all that well when I just hold it up. This is a part of my collection that I want to bolster up, which is cards that came out in only one side of a series. Let me explain. 1989 classics and 1990 classics, I've talked about them over and over on this channel. If you're a wrestling card collector, I'm sure you know the story. The 1989 series, which looks exactly the same as the 1990 series in almost every instance except for the copyright on the back, and it's Gametime as opposed to Classic on the back. You can see on the copyright line at the bottom of the card, you can check. The 1989s are almost exactly the same, except there are a few additional cards in the 1989 series that did not come out in the 1990 series. This is one of them. I don't know if they're any rarer than the other 1989 cards, but they're more special to me because they don't have an exact 1990 counterpart. And I believe these are rookies for this tag team. I know the rookie debate is something that people have a hard time getting into with wrestling cards because is it a rookie if it's their first time as a solo competitor or as a tag team or with a different gimmick or what have you. But regardless, having the first card of the Twin Towers, particularly what the Twin Towers represent in pop culture now and what they were at the time. You couldn't have a tag team named that now, or you would be very disrespectful to, I believe. But this is a pretty cool card. Pretty cool piece of history, pretty cool piece of wrestling card collecting is the 1989s that don't have 1990 counterparts. And what I'm looking for is the other set that I really like is the Market Scene Limited cards in New Zealand. And there are a couple of cards in that set as well, coincidentally 1989, 1990, that I believe it's 1990 versions that are not in the 1989 set of Demolition and, gosh, I always forget the second one. Viewers, if you remember who the second one is, maybe Andre the Giant? I don't know. Put it in the comments and let me know. But the Market Scene Limited has a couple of those chase cards as well that are very rare, very hard to find. So that does it for this week. What do you think of my pickups? If you went to the National, leave some comments. Let us know how it went for you. Another collector told me that there's a whole booth of wrestling cards there. I know in the past there may have been panels and things exclusively for wrestling cards. I don't know what it was like in Chicago, but let us know. Hope you had a good time and have some fun. Get out there. Do what you love. Happy collecting.
CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.